Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. I took on my sister's penniless assistant. He may be broke, but he's got fair skin, stunning looks, and long legs. His only flaw is his vanity. He often buys fake luxury goods, the kind that cost millions if real. One day I was tying him to the bedpost for a lesson, when I suddenly got a call from my sister. "Weren't you going to take on my assistant? Why haven't you come to find him yet?" I froze. Whoa, was this guy I was currently straddling? My sister struck it rich with her viral hand-waving videos, and I, her proud brother, rode her coattails, landing myself in the elite young master circle. But they always mocked me, saying my clothes were tacky and my food was crude, that I didn't even dare touch the model's charms at the club. In a fit of rage, I swore I'd find someone even more impressive than those models, to stun them all. On that note, my sister suggested I go for her assistant jeweler. "She's gorgeous," my sister said, "and if she says so, it must be true." To save face, I rushed to my sister's company to find her assistant. Just as I reached the parking lot, I spotted a stunning beauty with fair skin and long legs, standing beside a luxury car. In front of her was a middle-aged man, sobbing and clinging to her. "River, all I asked was for you to add a guy to your green bubble. Why are you so against it?" "River, that's my sister's assistant." My sister said her assistant grew up with family violence. His father was a gambling drunk. His mother even forced him to sell himself to pay debts. Sure enough, I heard River coldly say he wouldn't add anyone. "I'm not interested in that kind of thing. You're going to be the death of me." The man started pounding on him in a rage. I saw red instantly. Such a fresh, juicy body. How could anyone ruin it like that? I charged forward, shielding the beauty, yelling at the man, "Uncle, you're playing with fire. Take this million and leave my woman alone. The woman I'm set to marry." With that, I tossed a prepared check at his father and ordered security to drag him away. His father was still shouting about who dare touch him. You know our River family status in the gold circle. I ignored him. After all, only the weak rage impotently. After pulling off this heroic and utterly chill-level move, I figured River behind me must be swooning with gratitude, maybe even ready to throw himself into my arms with love. But reality proved that poverty breeds a fiery temper. When I turned around all shy and coy, I met River's icy, gorgeous face. He didn't seem moved in the slightest, his thick brows furrowed, his sharp eyes sizing me up. The moment our eyes locked, it was like electricity shot through my body, a tingling mix of pain and pleasure. I finally understood why I didn't want to touch those club models' charms. Their eyes were too soft, no challenge to conquer. But he was fierce, and I loved it. I felt he could drain me dry in one go. I cleared my throat, feigning composure. "Hello, Master River. I'm your boss, Sue's younger brother, River." His stunning brows lowered, exuding an overwhelming presence. It made my legs weak. What was happening? I'm the one who just dropped $1 million. I was about to stand tall, but then I saw those long legs of his, and I froze. My usual pity for beauties kicked in. Softly, I said to River, "You don't need to pretend with me. Cry if you want to." "Really, my sister told me all about your family." He narrowed his eyes at me. "What about my family? Still stubborn, huh?" Seeing him act tough and cool now, imagining him crying alone at night, my heart ached. "Didn't your dad just try to force you to add a guy, instead of going to a club and sleeping with old men and risking disease? Why not be with me? I'm clean. I can eat to big pork elbows in one sitting. You want me to be my sister's assistant anymore? She pays you $10,000. I'll pay you 5 times that, $50,000. If you don't want people knowing I'm your patron, just say we're dating. When it's over, you can say you dumped me." I was so moved by my own words. I'm not just a patron, I'm practically a saint. But his face grew colder as he listened, and then he turned to leave. His delicate, resolute back looked just like when I haggle and pretend to walk away. I knew I should wait for him to turn back, but lust overpowered reason. I gritted my teeth, and in a few steps grabbed his hand. $80,000. $80,000, is that enough? If you leave now, What if your dad comes back to harass you? I won't help you then. At my last words, his long legs paused. I felt like our arrangement hadn't even started, yet my little canary was already tugging at my heart. Just 5 minutes ago, he turned around. His slender fingers lifted my chin, his icy gaze stunning me. So fierce, Riley. I was bold, my heart pounding like thunder, mouth dry, body heating up. If he called me baby right now, I'd probably pin him against the wall with red eyes and give him my life. So this is what love feels like. But he only let me feel that thrill for 3 minutes before pulling back. With a mocking chuckle, he said, "Deal. If my dad shows up to bother me, you handle it." He agreed. I immediately pulled out my phone to add him on Green Bubble and transferred the 80,000. His Green Bubble profile showed him in a racing suit, posing in front of a race car, so stunning it could anger gods and men alike. But one glance told me it was photoshopped. That car was worth nearly 100 million, belonging to the top-tier River family in the gold circle. My sister said her assistant River was a good guy, but vain, always pretending to be rich. Sure enough, he didn't accept the 80,000 right away, just gave it a lazy glance, like it wasn't worth his time. I had to admit he played the part well, but I knew being bled dry by his parents, had probably never seen that much money in his life. His heart must be racing. I tentatively stepped forward and smoothly took his hand. He didn't look at me directly, but gave me a thrilling glance. I said I wasn't nervous, but couldn't help swallowing hard. He chuckled lightly, nervous just from holding hands. "And you're trying to play the patron?" I got mad. "What are you talking about? Is that the attitude you show your patron? Angering your patron has serious consequences." But my canary didn't seem to get that. All the way I acted upset, yet he calmly scrolled through his phone, ignoring me. I cursed myself for paying too quickly. If I'd paid half upfront, his attitude might have been better, all because of my inexperience. When we got to my apartment, I planned to keep sulking to show him who's boss, but he didn't even glance at me, just stripped and went into the bathroom. Hearing the water running, I felt like I was the assistant, escorting the young Miss home to shower. I'm the patron, damn it. He should be showering for me to watch. Emboldened by my status, I stormed into the bathroom. He stood under the shower head facing away, frowning at me barging in. "Get out, it's steamy." The mist only fueled my courage. I boldly said, "Get out, this is my house. You're my woman." I strutted in, standing before him, hands on hips. "I want to watch you shower. Can't I at least check the goods?" He seemed amused, suddenly turning around generously. "Fine. If you've got the guts to stare, don't faint from nerves." Just as I stepped closer, hot water from the shower hit my eyes, forcing me to retreat. But I couldn't lose my patron's dignity, or how would I manage my harem later? So I gritted my teeth and taunted, "All show and no substance. Are you even capable?" He seemed to laugh in anger, leaning close, his beautiful lips pressed hard against mine. "Am I giving you CPR?" He frowned. "Stick out your tongue." I instantly stuck it out. He stared at me, tongue out like a lizard. His face darkened, and he flung me away. I landed on the toilet, nearly getting stuck. He looked down at me, suddenly smirking. "Need help peeing, little kid?" His smile was so beautiful, but how dare he mock me as a kid? I thought being a patron would have people carrying me around like a baby, blissfully happy. But reality made me look like a fool. And River just put on his clothes and slammed the door on his way out, like an emperor returning goods. Even in Lingrong knew to have eunuchs wrap things up and send them back. Yet I, the patron, nearly got stuck in a toilet. My wallet and heart both ached. Furious, I called my sister and started complaining first. She said she was live streaming out of town. I don't know what's going on, but people at the company said Assistant River was crying his eyes out. I was stunned. Why was he crying? River said he met a boy he liked today, wanted to play it cool but didn't perform well, and probably made the guy mad. Oh my gosh, he was crying so hard. Hearing this, my anger vanished. So that's what he was thinking. My heart felt warm and sweet. Why act cool with your patron? You little vixen. Is he afraid I'd get bored of him too soon? Fine, as long as he's devoted to me. I sent River a green bubble message. Asking where he washed didn't reply. I was worried he might be so upset he'd jump into a river. But then, I saw a photo in the Young Masters group chat, taken at the city's most exclusive club. A bunch of rich kids drinking and showing off. And there was my canary River, standing in the middle, downing a glass of strong liquor. The princes around him turned into drooling idiots, their eyes practically glued to him. Great, here I was worrying about him. And Hayes at the club playing escort to tycoons. I rushed to the club. When I pushed open the door, some guy was going to serve him a drink. His tone sweeter than mine, Miss Jong. Is it convenient for me to visit your place tomorrow? It was the same socialite who mocked me for not touching the model's charms. I stormed forward, snatching the glass, and pulled River behind me. Stay away from him from now on. Hayes mine now, thou. It didn't sound very convincing. I turned and hooked his neck, kissing him hard. Thankfully, I'd crammed kissing tips on the way. My tongue was like an eel, slippery and skilled. River seemed pleased with my improved technique. His arms circled my waist, deepening the kiss. He took control, aggressively advancing, kissing me until my cheeks flushed. I nearly lost myself in it. After the kiss, I wiped the string of saliva from my lips and said to that princey that, my woman. I felt my words carried an air of undeniable power and dominance. How else could every rich kid in the room be stunned? Their eyes held shock, fear, but mostly admiration, a deep, heartfelt admiration. I thought, this must be the charm of a confident man. I said my piece and dragged River out. Before leaving, he turned back to the room and said, nothing happened just now. I was a bit touched. He was clearly there to make money, but to protect me. He mustered the courage to speak to clients like that. But once we left the club, I still lectured him earnestly. Don't talk to them like that in the future. They're ruthless, their bodyguards will beat you. They didn't dare move just now, because they're scared of me. If I'm not there, you definitely get beaten. Got it? Seeing his lazy, composed expression, I got mad and pinched his ear. Are you listening? I'm talking to you. He finally leaned in to look at me, his gaze falling on my lips. Suddenly sang softly, let's kiss again. What, he hadn't even processed it. His fingers lifted my chin, and he kissed me again, more intense and wild than the one in the club. He chased me like he was addicted. I don't even know how I got home. By the time I was pinned on the bed, I snapped back. When ridden in a Rolls Royce, he was focused on unbuttoning my shirt. I casually picked a car and I only gave you 80,000. Yet you went and rented a car to show off. You spendthrift. Keep this up and it'll cut your money in half. See how you keep pretending to be rich. I was furious. I flipped over, trying to pin him down into the sheets. At first, I was seriously demanding a refund. But then I got dizzy, feeling like I was being tossed into the clouds over and over. I never expected. When River was quiet, she was like a cold, aloof witch. But when she moved, she was fiercer than a frenzied teddy bear. In the end, only one thought filled my min money is damn great. After starting to fill in the gaps of knowledge with River in our cohabitation, I often marveled at how city folks really knew how to live. No wonder those princes always secretly kept college girls on the side, spending money without a hint of regret. After our nightly Mandarin duck baths, rolling onto the bed with a beauty in my arms, even immortals would drool at the sight. But my canary sometimes gave me quite a headache. For instance, I noticed she loved buying all sorts of luxury goods. Fakes. Just a pair of cufflinks, yet they were knockoffs of a big brand. I checked the real ones were priced over $1 million. No idea where she got those fakes. They looked so real. Every time this happened, I'd sternly lecture her, why bother pretending like this? I don't look down on you. Those fakes didn't cost tens of thousands, did they? She'd come out of the shower, glancing at the gifts someone sent her. I stood with my hands on my hips. Woe was that. Some tycoon, you don't have another patron behind my back, do you? If you dare accept gifts from other tycoons, watch out, it'll enforce house rules. You want that perky butt of yours flattened. She shot me a glance, like an emperor eyeing a raving eunuch. I got even madder. When I was a kid, my sister scolded me like this, and I was scared to death. How could she not be afraid at all? I stepped forward and landed 2 hard smacks on her butt. You dare roll your eyes at me? Are you trying to rebel? If you keep disobeying, they'll go to the university district and find a college girl to replace you. Her face turned cold. She pinned me to the sofa. College girls, what, am not the only one you're with? Her icy, stunning gaze made my legs go weak, but I still jutted out my chin, stubbornly saying how many I find depends on how good you are. Things get boring after a while anyway. She raised a brow. Find a few, you got that much money. I tried to speak again, angrily leaning in to seal her lips, coldly saying you need to know your place. My business isn't for you to question. She sneered, fiercely swearing with that stunning face, panting as she whispered in my ear, Su Ching, if you dare mess around with others behind my back, see how I make you regret it. Look at that, her old habits kicking in, pretending to be tough again. She looked so fierce on the surface, but inside she must be terrified, scared I'd get a new canary and neglect her right. But her jealousy meant she cared about me. Women are so dramatic. Fine. Since she loved that brand's cufflinks so much, I'd scrimp and save to buy her the real thing. But before that plan could take off, a brutal piece of news hit. My sister's live stream got banned, and she faced a fine of over 10 million for violations. It started when my sister got drunk and at a bar offended someone from the top-tier River family in the Gold Circle. On the phone, my sister was crying like Sue Junder. I felt so bad for her. If it wasn't for my sister bringing me to the city, I'd still be stuck in the countryside, eating pork and vermicelli stew every day. No chance to live it up, or to keep a beauty like River as my canary. Thinking of last night's passionate tumble with River, while my sister was at home crying into a toilet, my conscience started to waver. My sister's been waving her hands so much she got tenosynovitis. As her proud brother, I had to step up in this crisis. After much thought, I decided to seduce the River family's young miss. If I could win her over, getting my sister's live stream unbanned would just take a word from her. I paid to find out the young miss' full name was River. Her name was a bit like my canary's. Thinking of my canary, River made me reluctant again. She was a bit vain, but still incredibly capable, with great stamina too. Just looking at that face could send me into an inner climax. But I was broke now. I couldn't afford to keep her. The thought of her leaving me, and her broken family and cruel dad continuing to pressure her, she might end up in the hands of some tycoons who like to play rough. My heart clenched at the thought. With her top-tier looks, even if she didn't sleep with a handsome guy like me, it shouldn't be someone so ugly. After some struggle, I made a very noble decision. I'd find River a good new patron to keep her safe. A beauty like her, even secondhand, was in high demand. In less than 3 days, I found River a new patron. I was about to talk to her when she sent me a green bubble to find college girls. Bought a new watch. It'll come in handy tonight. The photo showed a watch with a legit price tag of 10 million. I wanted to lecture her to stop buying fake luxury goods, but I couldn't bring myself to say it. In the painful moment of parting, her little flaws suddenly seemed so endearing. Choking up, I replied, "It's been a while since I took you out for a big meal. Pick a place tonight." She wasn't shy about it. Sent me an address. Average cost over 30,000. Fine, this spendthrift. Her monthly allowance was only 80,000. She's getting too full of herself. I comforted myself that letting her go was for the best. Keeping a college girl wouldn't be this extravagant. But half a minute later, she sent another message to Sharp tonight. "I got a little gift for you." My heart, which had just settled, clenched again. I quickly exited her chat, afraid I'd get perverse thoughts about locking her in a basement and chaining her up. The new patron I found for River was a handsome old friend from my hometown, a bit older but filthy rich and gentle like me. I sent the restaurant address to my friend, holding back tears. Ready, I got in the car to the hotel. "Paparazzi," said the young miss. "River booked the city's most exclusive hotel tonight. I could stake it out." I waited over an hour, but no sign of the young miss. I kept looking around, checking green bubble, wondering how River's talk with my friend was going. Rationally, I hoped River would agree to him, but deep down I darkly hoped she'd refuse. Unable to hold back, I sent my friend a green bubble. How's it going with you two? Then I found out he'd blocked me. I was utterly confused. When the hotel doors swung open, a group of black-clad bodyguards escorted a tall, striking woman inside. The concierge bowed. "Miss, this way." "That's River." I jumped up and followed, but my phone buzzed at the worst time. It was River calling. I panicked and hit decline. The next second, her green bubble messages came flooding in. "You sent a cross-eyed, frizzy-haired guy to dine with me. Suchin, you better have a good explanation. I want to hear it in 3 minutes." Gritting my teeth, I replied heartlessly, "That was me kindly finding you a new If you don't like him, I can't force you." She replied fast. "A new patron? Am I your toy to toss aside? Listing me on Xianyu when you're done." I typed quickly, "We're done. Tired of you. I've got a new girlfriend. Don't contact me again." I even sent her 20,000 labeled as breakup fee. Seeing the young Miss River's figure about to disappear, I hurried to catch up. I followed the young miss into the hotel's first-floor bar. From a distance, I saw the young miss constantly checking her phone, seeming in a bad mood, maybe heartbroken over some unattainable love. Perfect chance. I took a deep breath and approached. A black-clad bodyguard stopped. "Hats your business." Before I could speak, my phone buzzed again in my bag. I pulled it out. It was River again. I answered, covering the mic, whispering, "What? Where are you?" She asked coldly. I don't know if the bar was too quiet, but River's voice felt so close. "I'm on a date with my new girlfriend. Stop calling me. Stop making a scene." I turned around as my words landed and saw River holding her phone, her face dark, standing behind me. "What are you doing here?" I jumped in fright. My first instinct was to grab her wrist and run. If we disturbed the young miss, we'd both be in deep trouble. But River stood there coldly, her gaze like she wanted to swallow me whole. A terrifying thought suddenly hit me, taking shape in my mind. I turned my head stiffly like a robot. The spot where the young miss sat was empty. I called out tentatively. River in front of me answered coldly. I pointed at her, asking the bodyguard, "What do you usually call her?" The bodyguard replied, "Young Miss Irrefutable Evidence." My vision went black. I fainted with a thud. I fainted or pretended to, but River clearly wasn't buying it. I lay on the carpet for 3 minutes. She just stood there unmoving, looking down at me, expressionless. "Let up," she said coldly. I kept pretending to be dead. She turned to the bodyguard. "If she's dead, drag her to the back hill and bury her." I scrambled up in a flash, sneering, not pretending anymore. Back at the apartment, every time she sneered, I'd spank her, maybe even pinch a few times. Now, just thinking about it made me want to pee. I glanced at her perfect butt, quickly retracting my gaze, but she caught me, planning to enforce house rules on me now. Her brow arched. "Me respected patron daddy." When she called me patron daddy, my legs gave out. I collapsed to my knees. I suspected I had cataracts and an ear infection, mistaking the young miss for an assistant. Now that I think about it, I always scolded her for buying luxury fakes that looked just like the real thing, because they were the real thing. That day in the club's private room, those rich kids looked at me with such admiration, not because I was imposing, but because I boldly kissed the young miss, and that Rolls Royce she drove. I scolded her for renting it to show off, and when she said she'd make me regret it, I laughed at her for pretending. Donish could actually destroy me. With her status and power, crushing me and my sister was as easy as stepping onto ants. At that thought, I felt death looming. My sister made a mess. I was trying to fix it for her, but now ID made it even worse. This time River didn't tell me to get up. She just walked away with those long legs. I lay sprawled on the floor watching her cold striking back, unsure if I should follow. Soon after, a black-clad bodyguard approached her. "Sue, the young miss asked you to come up." As expected, she wouldn't let me off so easily. Maybe tonight I'd really disappear quietly, buried in the back hill. Wiping tears, I pulled out my phone, sent my sister a message, "Drink less," then deleted all green bubble chats and my browser history. Even in death, I'd go out clean. I dragged my feet into the presidential suite. River had already showered, standing by the floor-to-ceiling window drying her hair. In the past, that would have been fatally attractive, but now I didn't dare think those thoughts. My mind was cleaner than a monk's. I stammered, "Young miss, need a hairdryer. Wet hair can make you catch a cold." She turned, smirking, so concerned about me. "Of course, I'm always worried about your health." But she shut me down with one line. "Then why'd you try to pass me off to some cross-eyed guy?" I broke out in a cold sweat, stammering I had my reasons. "I'm broke, I can't afford you anymore. I was afraid you'd end up with abusive tycoons, so I wanted to find you a good one." She sneered, "So noble of you." No. I was wrong, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have tarnished your noble self. I'll never do it again. Never again. Her gaze sharpened. "You slept with me and think that's it." But the sleeping was her choice too. And later, she was even more into it than me. Plus, I paid her. But I didn't dare say that. I looked up. Trembling, "I thought you were my sister's poor assistant, and I paid to be your patron. My intention was to help society's vulnerable. I had no bad intentions. It's my fault for not recognizing the young miss. Or maybe your charm was too overwhelming, making me lose control and lust after you. That's the innate charisma and nobility you have, something ordinary mortals lack. These past few months were my mistake. Just now in the hallway, I slapped myself a dozen times. I'm genuinely repentant." She sneered, "Hallway has cameras. I'll have them pulled to check." She moved to get up. I panicked and rushed to stop her. The moment I touched her hand, I yanked it back. She looked at my cowardly self. "Su Ching, do you ever tell the truth?" Her cold gaze pierced through me. I stood frozen, unable to respond. My heart pounded, unsure if I'd survive this night. "Every word I said to you was true." She reached out and lifted my chin, squinting as she asked me, "So you saying you're tired of me was true too?" I didn't know how to respond. Saying yes was definitely not an option. But if I said no, wouldn't that mean I still wanted to sleep with her? Even worse, I thought for a moment. Raised 3 fingers to swear. "In my heart, you're still grand and towering. Rest assured, I have no lustful thoughts about you now. Even if you stripped naked, I wouldn't have any misguided ideas." I thought I sounded sincere, but as soon as the words left my mouth, River's face darkened visibly. She flung my chin away and stood up. I couldn't understand why she was upset, trembling with fear. Thankfully, a video call came in just then. River glanced at it and went to the study. It looked like a video conference, because I heard her speaking in fluent English. My eyes darted around. I quickly got a glass of ice juice and placed it by her side, and grabbed a cushion to prop behind her back. She glanced at me. I with great tact stepped forward to massage her shoulders. After the meeting, I could tell River's mood had improved. She got up and headed to the bedroom, probably to sleep. I stood at the door hesitating. Her feminine voice came through, standing there like a door god. I hurriedly said, "Then I'll wait in the living room until you wake." "Su Ching, call me you one more time and see what happens." Mocking who? Why was she so hard to talk to? I bit my lip, then heard her say, "Go sure. I've got another meeting in the morning." I couldn't figure out what she meant. I quickly showered and came out, finding her still leaning against the headboard on her phone. "Young miss, I'm done showering. Should I carry you over?" He climbed into bed nervously. I stared wide-eyed as she leaned into my arms. She said again, "Not tired after all that fuss." I immediately shut my eyes. I thought I wouldn't sleep, but maybe I was too used to sharing a bed with her. I actually slept soundly. The next few days, I followed River around cautiously. She didn't tell me to leave, and I didn't dare go, but I couldn't figure out what she really wanted. After lunch, I secretly called my sister. She'd been in much better spirits lately, said she was back in the city, and asked where I was. Covering the phone, I said, "I'm out clubbing with friends. Gotta go." As I hung up, I turned and met River's gaze. Her icy voice came clubbing at a graveyard. "That's your new girlfriend." Why was she so hung up on the second-hand thing? No, that was my sister. Under the weight of her stare, I had to spill the whole truth, including why I abandoned her to try seducing the young miss. She asked your sisters the hand-waving sister on Slowfoot. I nodded like a bobblehead. She offended your River family at the bar and got banned, as expected of the Gold Circle's young miss. 3 minutes later, the black-clad bodyguard had all the details. Mr. Su's sister is Su Xiaoyu. She was waving her hands at the bar for your father, the chairman who loved it. He even set her as his phone wallpaper. Your mother saw it, got jealous, and had Su Xiaoyu's account banned. The bodyguard burst out laughing. I couldn't help asking, haven't you had professional training to never laugh no matter how funny? River shot me a look. I immediately clamped my mouth shut. She made a phone call, then told me your sister's account is unbanned. No fine either. I was so happy I nearly jumped, but meeting River's icy gaze, I deflated instantly. I knew she was still mad at me, though I didn't know why she helped. Maybe for her dad's sake. I tried saying, young miss, ever since I knew I wronged you, I haven't eaten or slept well. River picked up a paper from the table muttering, Mr. Su. Yesterday slept 9 hours. Breakfast 2 trays of crab roast soup, dumplings, and pig offal noodles. Lunch to braised pork elbows to bowls of rice. Afternoon to milk teas. Dinner eel rice extra large. I snatched the paper, tore it up, and shut my eyes. Resigned to death, I said, I know you want revenge. Why not turn the tables? You can be my patron. Use me, torment me, until you feel satisfied. How's that? I regretted it as soon as I said it. She's the Gold Circle's young miss. How could she stoop to something as low as being a patron? But the next second River said, fine. Name your price. Oh, I get it, she's playing along. Just like I made her name a price. To let her humiliate me. I played along. 80 a month, humiliating enough. Should probably haggle. Sure enough, River nodded without hesitation. Deal. An hour later, I got a check for 800,000. I checked it several times. Fuming, I stood up from the sofa. This isn't patronage. This is freaking redemption. And so, I became the Gold Circle's young Miss Canary. I thought River would find every way to boss me around, torment me, maybe even like in those abusive novels, make me dance for her friends' amusement, or give me to her rivals. But actually life was pretty great. River had me move into her villa, and we were back to being inseparable, racing through the night. I felt her driving skills had improved. Before she just floored it. Now she knew how to shift gears, even parallel park. I wondered if she had someone else out there. Where'd she learn this? But I didn't dare ask. Sometimes I thought I was overthinking. If I couldn't figure it out, I stopped trying. This wasn't something a guy with an 800-pound monthly salary should worry about. In short, compared to when I was her patron, it felt a bit shabby. Not just the price and living conditions. Her villa had chefs for all 8 major cuisines, even a dessert chef and barista. I darkly wondered, maybe she was showing off to crush my confidence. The only thing that made me uneasy was River, always dragging me to banquets and gatherings. I really didn't want to go. I was terrified of running into my sister. I hadn't told her about me and River. Not even that I helped unban her livestream. I was afraid her temper would flare. We grew up without parents. My sister raised me like a mom, never letting me do dirty or hard work. So at every gathering, I sipped juice with my head held high, afraid of being recognized. But what you fear always comes. At that night's dinner, I was digging into roast duck when my sister walked in. Her face dark, she said, Su Ching, weren't you out of town having fun? My duck leg fell onto the plate. I stood up trembling. I didn't know how to explain to her. I couldn't say I was working an 800,000 job. It sounded impressive, but Shed definitely hit me. I was afraid she'd fight with River and get her live stream banned again. My sisters always had a fiery temper, we're twins. I suspect she absorbed all my boldness in the womb. As I racked my brain for an excuse, River walked over with a wine glass. She naturally slipped her arm around my waist. Miss Su, hello. I was planning to bring Su Ching to visit you soon. I'm Su King's girlfriend. Junior, surnamed Zhang. Both my sister and I were stunned. The whole table was stunned, but I was scared to death. A business dinner turned into a flattery fest for me. Everyone said the young Miss River never got close to men. not even seen with a male companion. I was the first she'd ever been intimate with, and publicly acknowledged as her boyfriend. The fathers of those princes and rich kids went all out to toast me, piling duck and chicken legs into my bowl. I was stuffed to bursting when we left the hotel, feeling oddly at ease. I tentatively asked, you just said at the table that I'm your boyfriend. She said lightly, my dad's been pushing me to marry. Says he'll divorce my mom if I don't date. Oh, that makes sense. I thoughtfully said, then let's keep it up for show. If there's anything you need me to, just tell me. No problem. No need for extra pay. I genuinely want to help. River said coldly, got it. The next day my monthly salary jumped to $2 million. I didn't think she was fierce anymore, or scary. She looked perfect in every way. So I was River's boyfriend for a year. She'd say her dad wasn't feeling well, wanted to meet his future son-in-law, and added $5 million. Then her mom had an ear infection, would go deaf if she didn't hear her future son-in-law call her mom. Another $5 million. So I met her parents, and she met my sister. In the end, we even set a wedding date. When both families were trying on wedding dresses, I pulled her aside, worriedly saying, your dad said today's a holiday. Wants us to get the marriage license first. How do we handle this? She pinched my ear, her tone gentle, then let's get the license. My dad has a heart condition, can't handle shocks. But I still hesitated. Marriage isn't a small thing. River coaxed me gently. Besides, your sister's not young anymore. If you don't marry, she won't find a husband either. Can you bear to see her waving her hands until she gets tenosynovitis? With no one to drive with her at night. Mentioning my sister swayed me instantly. River leaned and kissed my lips. Good boy. I'll transfer you a big sum later, just get the license with me. I twisted my finger. What about divorce, splitting assets evenly? She's on the rich list, worth countless times more than me. But for some reason, she turned and said, after the wedding I have one request. No keeping college girls or assistants behind my back. No cooks or gardeners either. Epilogue. River's inner monologue. River never thought about falling in love. She'd always been cold. Not just in personality, but in that area too. In college, her roommates huddled to watch adult sites. She had zero interest. A glance was just boring. Though she was the River family's young miss, surrounded by countless boys. By 24, she hadn't even touched a boy's hand. She once thought she'd stay cold like this forever. Until that day she went to a company for business. Her dad chased her down, pushing her to add a guy on Green Bubble for a blind date. She was annoyed when a boy rushed over and sent her dad packing and offered to be her patron. Oh, the guy too shy to touch the club model's charms. Big eyes, small round face, pretty handsome, kind of interesting. River suddenly didn't lazily agreed, saying $8,000 a month wasn't even enough for a meal. But he looked heartbroken. She saw him constantly checking his phone, looking at his bank balance. She went back to his apartment, curious to see what he'd pull off. He had plenty of tricks. She could tell it was his first time, but had clearly done his homework, even mimicking those male leads' lines. She thought he was adorably silly. And strangely, with him she wasn't cold, but burning with passion, especially when he clung to her waist, looking up begging for a kiss. She found him utterly adorable. How could there be such a cute boy? Holding him, she thought, River, you're done for. When she asked him to dinner, she wanted to give him a gift and confess, but he tried to pass her off secondhand, saying he had a new woman. River was furious, wanted to punish him, scare him to death, but seeing him tremble, legs shaking, looking up, sniffling pitifully, she softened. Fine, he was already clueless. No need to scare him more, thinking he felt guilty. But the next day, she saw him devour two big pork elbows. River couldn't help but laugh and cry. There was no other boy like him. She had to hold him tight, lest someone steal him away. She schemed, easily tricked him into meeting her parents and getting the license. Dealing with him was easy for her. If she wanted to trick him, Su Ching could be fooled for a lifetime. River wasn't sure if Su Ching really loved her. Maybe he loved her money, or her fair skin, stunning looks, and long legs. But it didn't matter. She'd keep her figure, and life would go on. Her cold facade melted. With him she found warmth. She'd hold on to this feeling, no matter what his reasons were. She'd make sure he stayed by her side, forever.